It was just days before Christmas in 2013 when a bright, ambitious 20-year-old woman vanished into the cold South Carolina night. Her car was found abandoned at a remote boat landing. No signs of a struggle, no witnesses, no trace of Heather Elvis. What followed was a web of jealousy, lies, secret relationships, and a mysterious phone call that would leave a community haunted for years to come. This is the case of Heather Elvis, a story of obsession, betrayal, and a family's relentless fight for justice. Heather Elvis was born on June 30th, 1993, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Friends and family described her as bubbly, kind-hearted, and full of life. She loved makeup, fashion, and had dreams of becoming a cosmetologist. Her ambition showed through in everything she did. Heather had been attending beauty school while working 2 jobs, one at the Tilted Kilt and another at the House of Blues. But behind the smiles and selfies, Heather's life had recently taken a complicated turn. She had started seeing someone, a man much older than her, Sidney Moorer. He was married, and what began as flirtation soon turned into a full-fledged affair. Sidney Moorer was a 37-year-old maintenance worker who had been married to his wife Tammy since the late 90s. Together, they had children and what appeared to be a stable life. But that illusion quickly shattered when Sidney and Heather's affair came to light. According to friends and co-workers, the affair was intense. Secret meetings, text messages, and late-night calls. But it wasn't just a fling. Heather, by all accounts, developed real feelings for Sidney. However, Tammy found out, and from that moment on, everything changed. Heather began receiving threatening messages. Tammy allegedly handcuffed Sidney to their bed at night. She forced him to change his phone number and even made him write a Facebook post claiming his love and loyalty to her. Heather was devastated and at times scared. But she was trying to move on the night of December 17th, 2013. Heather went on a date with another man, someone she had recently started seeing. They took a ride in his car, and he dropped her off at her apartment around 1:15 a.m. Between 1:30 and 2 a.m., Heather's phone received a call from his payphone. That call was traced back to Sidney Moorer. The contents of the conversation are unknown, but minutes later, Heather called her roommate, then attempted to call Sidney back several times. Around 3 a.m., Heather left her apartment, drove her green 2001 Dodge Intrepid to the secluded Peachtree Landing, a boat ramp south of Myrtle Beach, and was never seen again. Later that morning, her car was found abandoned at the landing. The driver's seat was adjusted for someone taller than Heather. Her keys, phone, and purse were missing, but there was no sign of a struggle. As soon as Heather was reported missing, police began combing through surveillance footage, phone records, and the landing area. Her phone stopped pinging near Peachtree Landing shortly after 3:40 a.m. on December 18th. The call from the payphone was a red flag. Investigators quickly zeroed in on Sidney and Tammy Moorer. As the investigation progressed, a disturbing picture began to emerge. Cell phone data placed the Moores near the boat landing that same morning. Surveillance showed Sidney purchasing a pregnancy test from Walmart around 1 a.m. Tammy's phone, which typically never left her side, went offline for a suspicious period. Their vehicles were spotted on camera traveling toward the landing at odd hours. The final blow came when investigators recovered deleted texts between the couple. Some were deeply incriminating. In one, Tammy mocked Heather, calling her names and accusing her of trying to destroy the marriage. In another, she texted Sidney, "You need to end it with her," like now. In February 2014, 2 months after Heather vanished, Sidney and Tammy Moorer were arrested and charged with kidnapping, obstruction of justice, and later, murder. The prosecution alleged that the couple lured Heather to Peachtree Landing that night and that she never left. But despite the circumstantial evidence, nobody had ever been found. That became the cornerstone of the defense. In 2016, Sidney was tried first, but only for kidnapping. The trial ended in a hung jury. In 2019, a retrial was held, and this time he was convicted of kidnapping and sentenced to 30 years in prison. Tammy's trial came next. Her defense argued that she had no direct contact with Heather and that the texts didn't prove intent. But the jury didn't buy it. She was convicted of kidnapping and conspiracy to kidnap in October 2018 and also sentenced to 30 years. Still, no murder charges stuck. No remains were ever found. And without a body, Heather's family was left without closure. Over a decade has passed since Heather Elvis disappeared. Her family continues to fight for justice. They hold prayer vigils, speak to the media, and run a Facebook page dedicated to Heather's memory. In 2022, both Sidney and Tammy Moorer lost their appeals. Their convictions were upheld. Heather's father, Terry Elvis, once said, "I'll never stop looking for her. As long as I'm breathing, I'll fight." The Peachtree Landing remains a somber reminder of the night everything changed, a place of reflection, heartache, and unanswered questions. Heather Elvis was just 20 years old, a young woman with her whole life ahead of her. Her case is a haunting reminder of how quickly lives can be changed by jealousy, manipulation, and unchecked obsession. If you have any information about the disappearance of Heather Elvis, please contact the Horry County Police Department or Crime Stoppers. Thank you for watching. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this video to help keep Heather's story alive. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember the faces behind the headlines.